Welcome to Zero Hit Points, everybody. It's November 6th. I'm Ryan Miller, and how many of you are here for Twitch personality, Guitar Master, Mattster, Amber?
I'm not. I'm certainly not here for
No, not you?
No.
It was a handy stream you had the other night. I'm sorry if I'm bringing you into it too quick.
No, you gotta
This isn't organic enough for you.
It's the most organic we've ever had.
That's why it's so expensive.
Yes! Welcome to Zero Hit Points. I am Matt. I was on the stream this weekend. It was true. So this weekend, Saturday, we did our past weekend. We had a great stream. It was fun. It was a thank you stream for breaking the October sub goal, which was blown out of the water at 150%, maybe even more. I don't remember what it ended up at.
Yeah, again, that's been a while too. Who knows?
It's crazy. But yeah, we played guitar and we played some Dead by Daylight. We played some Overwatch. You know, it was a good time. It was fun.
Seemed like a good time. I was there for a lot.
Yeah.
I caught some musics.
You heard my awesome acoustic rendition of the Buzzcocks.
I probably did. I'm not as well versed in the Buzzcocks, actually. You'd think I would be.
Ever fallen in love with someone? Ever fallen in love?
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Buzzcocks.
that's good. They were all good. Not one bad song in the bunch. My favorite was when somebody would be like Nirvana or...
Oh, they did early on.
I forget there was one other, and you were like, I will never play as you're like multitasking playing the beginning of one of their songs.
Well, yeah. Never going to play this song.
Yeah, that's about how it went.
Yeah, that's not happening. But no,
Impressive.
It was fun. It was a good time.
It was.
We will do that again. There will probably be...
Are you working that into the rotation, or is this going to be like a special occasion thing? I imagine, do you have a new sub goal up for November?
I do. The new sub goal is the same as the old sub goal. It's just a new one.
Okay.
But
right.
you know, we got to try. We got to go a couple months. I don't want to blow this thing up out of the water. Everybody was so cool the first. Who knows? Maybe people have cooled off and been like, you know what? I don't know. I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's enough subs. Let's not.
Yeah. We're not.
Or they saw what happens when you get enough subs, and they're like, well, we've
that right there.
Fool me once.
Yeah. Shame on me. Fool me twice. Also shame on me because I should have been there the first time. I'm an idiot.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, it worked out good though. It was fun.
I maintain that it was not a bad thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, while you were streaming any of said games that we haven't said yet, did you want to say any of those?
I feel like I did say them.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I think I said played some DBD, played some Overwatch. I have nothing to add. Those are games.
Okay.
We
All
play
right,
them.
cool.
They're fun. I like them a lot. I don't like Overwatch unless I'm playing with people. Then it's fun. Then I don't mean like I don't like solo queuing that. DBD, I'll solo queue that all day long. This I don't know.
I gotcha.
We had full lobbies in there too, man. We had full 6-person team for a couple of rounds of Overwatch. Then we actually were able to split off and do like 5v5.
Really?
We had enough people.
Like these are all
private matches.
That's the deal. Is it's subs and friends and whoever wants.
The majority of the people actually. So we had like 3 or 4 people, maybe 5 from my stream, and then the other people were all from a LAN party that was going on over the weekend.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Good old Oz.
Oz, and the Church of the Eternal LAN. Is that what they're called? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. I feel bad now that I don't remember what it's called.
That sounds good.
I think it's
it
called
should be if it's not.
I gotta look. Hold on.
One of the best skate shops. Shoot, I haven't tried to go there in a long time. Up in Santa Barbara, local, was the Church of Skatin'.
It's a good name.
It is very good.
Yes, our friends at the Church of the Eternal LAN. That is correct.
Okay, see, I knew everybody was right.
We were all correct. Everybody's
Name
good.
one time we've been wrong.
You know what? You can't. Go back to the tape. We have never been incorrect.
I'm going back to the tape. Hold on. Nothing.
See, there you go.
Might have deleted all those episodes wherein we kept track of when we were wrong.
That sounds like a fun dream you were having one day. What could it be like to be wrong sometime? I don't know.
Somebody fact check that for us and let us know.
Fart check.
Did you play anything else? I asked full well knowing the only thing we've played or even tried to play this week. I
have hours invested now.
Yeah, that's actually the better question. How many hours of Red Dead did you play this week?
I think I clocked in around 8.
Ooh.
8 solid hours. Okay. Let's take the 2 out for the beginning, because that first, like that whole little, before you get to Valentine, all that's about 2 hours.
You mean the loading screen?
Yes, basically. You take the first 2 hours or hour and a half so out. I'm guessing maybe 10 hours even. It could be a little bit more. But what I do know is this. For the amount of hours that I've played, I don't think I've progressed the story one iota.
Yep, sounds about right. I'm up to 10.6%. In fact, I talked with a real life buddy, IRL.
Whoa, that doesn't sound right.
Who picked up the game. And he's always on playing the thing. And I'm like, oh, he's got to be super far. I'm like, so what's up? He's like, it's barely got done with chapter 2. Like, what? How many hours are you looking at? He's like, yeah, 30. Like, what percent are you at? 12.
What is chapter 2?
Chapter 2.
Which one is it? Like, it's the you're out of the snow.
I don't know. It's the one after the first one.
Yeah, you're out. Thank you for that. You're out of the snow. Like, I played so long now, the chapters have just melted away. That's after the snow, right?
Yes. The snow. Essentially, the tutorial is chapter 1. Yeah, basically snow breaks, and I think that's the beginning of chapter 2.
Right. So you've been to Valentine.
I might have been through Valentine. I haven't been there because the story's really taken me there. Actually, I don't think.
No,
Maybe
you have. You absolutely went there because we talked about the Lenny mission.
Okay, sure, yes.
You go straight into Valentine because you're at the saloon in Valentine.
I guess I was expecting more, and this is emblematic of the game. I was expecting more of especially after the first chapter, which is good and beautiful and sets you up perfectly, but is very linear. I guess I was expecting more of now let's get down to Valentine. And that never really happened. But it was, let's set up camp, horseshoe camp, and I did a bunch of chores. And then,
because you love the chores.
Lenny rolls up. I do love the chores. Lenny rolls up and is like, he killed a guy somewhere or something.
He didn't kill the guy.
And it was actually a fun surprise, not only because the mission is fantastic, but because I thought it was like, Lenny's distraught. He killed a guy. Go fix the problem. I thought it was going to be us riding into town, shooting a bunch of dudes, whatever. It was basically just take Lenny into town to get a drink to relax him because he had kind of a stressful day with this whole thing.
Yeah, he was almost lynched. So he had to run away.
That's what it was. That's right.
Because it wasn't him. It was Malachi. Malachi is the guy who killed people.
Is that the guy, the loose cannon that Arthur super hates?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
See, I'm paying attention.
He and Lenny and Squeaky from here on out. Squeaky.
That's right.
Yeah.
Malachi got arrested.
Yes.
He's in jail somewhere or something.
Right. And then Lester or Lenny, Lenny was trying to save him, and he was going to be lynched. They were chasing him, and he was like, "Yeah, got away."
But yeah, the mission, you take him into town, you just have a drink. But at one point, you're doing a little bit of everything, but you're looking for him often. Like, you lose track of him, so you wander around the bar yelling Lenny.
Lenny!
And you find him up to some mischief somewhere else in the bar. But you lose him again, so you're doing it. But then all the prompts turn into like backwards names, and then you can barely walk, and it's all.
It was good.
It's super fun. Yeah.
It's really fun, and it was a fun mission. Yeah. Have you done the one? There's a lady that lives just north of Valentine named.
Did she kill all of her husbands? She Black Widow.
No. Although that's
the
probably
only
coming
lady.
up. I did actually. You had to go hunt that lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got her. No. This is an actual mission. It's like she's got an icon, and it's you get it. You get the mission. The mission opens up when you go back to camp, and there's a letter by your bed, and you read the letter, and then when you read the letter, the mission will pop up, and it's one of the missions that are you go and you start it, and then you're given the option to help or not. And I'm really annoyed by this because this entire game is me, like, I'm so back and forth on the altruism. Like, I've been robbing people left and right. There are a lot of corpses floating around the hills of Valentine. That's all I'm saying. And yes,
well, hidden, I would hope. You got to hide the bodies.
Well, you do what you can do. Most of them I just toss onto a fire. Okay. I don't know that helps, but it's fun to burn a whole bunch of...
Is that a thing? Really?
Oh, yeah. You could definitely toss them into fire. You can link them and stuff. Like, you can spell things out if you really want to put the effort in.
Put them in a barrel of acid?
Yes. You can pull out all their teeth and you can smash it. Yeah. It's a very, very family-friendly game for sure. But you get to go and you get to do the do you want to help her or not? And it's annoying because I want to know what both sides do. But I decided to help her, and when you help her, and it's definitely a nod. It's a very wink and a nod to Kiflam Zondar.
Really? Very,
very minor, but it's totally they totally use the. When you do the bit, you'll see. I think you'll pick up on it. It's not overt because it's a more serious game, so it's not doing it. But it's totally a nod to.
I'm into it.
To
Like, I would
Kiflom.
love one of my favorite things of GTA 5. One of my favorite missions for sure.
And this is like, it's nothing like, it doesn't, the nod to it is it's like the most subtle thing, you know. It's
Sure.
if
It's
you
not
didn't-
like Red Dead's version of that mission or anything.
No.
You're just saying it's like an Easter egg or something.
no, not it is exactly that. It's one of those there's just, it's the religious aspect to it, and the kind of it plays off of that a little bit. If I remember,
Let's not discount. I mean, the Rockstar, you can put a Kiflom mission in the game. Like, it's all right.
I think they should do a DLC that's just Kiflom.
Just Kiflom. Dang straight. Are you talking like a cowboy a lot more like I am? I swear I've called you partner, or sorry, pardner. Like 3 separate times.
Yeah.
And once to your face.
I have not yet, partner.
Okay.
But we'll work on it.
It happens.
It does.
Yeah, Red Dead, man. I don't know if I can add much more because I'm piecemealing it as one does who doesn't have a ton of time. I get like 1, maybe 2 missions out of the way. I was trying to get 1 a day and I didn't even make that. So I'm nowhere near your hefty 10-hour mark.
I will tell you, so I did some, I've got some missions opened up, but I really haven't pushed the story forward as much as I think I could have. I don't know.
It's hard to tell that with that game.
Very hard.
I mean,
to
like
tell.
I said, the first chapter is pretty linear, but as it opens up, like there's like 5 mission markers.
Yeah.
And none of them are marked like main. You know, sometimes the games will mark the main to progress the main story, do this mission or something like that.
Yeah.
No, they're all got the same thing. It's just depending on who you talk to. And it's fantastic. I love that they're doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I kind of think that the way they're opening it up is kind of starting with those missions, because each one of those early missions that you get right away, they all open something up for you. You
Right,
learn
yes.
some stuff. It's definitely tutorialized.
I'm still getting that.
There have been a couple of hilariously wonderful moments, though. I did name my horse Tag because I keep accidentally running people over. I think I mentioned this. Ian, my son, he told me he named his horse Radish, which makes perfect sense when you think about it. Horseradish.
Yep.
Yep.
And somehow, wow.
Yeah,
Didn't immediately.
Now
get
you
that.
just feel like a jag, like I did
Yeah,
for
it's
like
my fault.
0.2 seconds, and then I went, "No, you idiot! I got it." I know, just like you did. You know, there've been a couple of moments in that game that have just been absolutely joyous things that have come up, and I'm sure like
Go for it. Yeah, this is going to turn into story time basically because
I don't want to spoil, like, it's not story. This is not about the story. This is just an off thing. Cause again, I haven't done a ton of the story stuff,
Right.
But I had you meet somebody somewhere. I don't even remember where the hell I met the guy. And he tells you, he's writing a book and he wants to write a book about, I think he's in the pub, actually. He's in a
I
saloon
got that guy
somewhere.
too. Yeah. No, I did get him.
Right. So he's writing a book, and the guy that he's talking to is a drunkard, and he says, you know, hey, I know there's some people out there, and if you want to go talk to them and get me information and pictures, then we can do something, or I can give you some money.
So the guy is writing a biography, and he's talking to the drunkard who claims to be one of the fastest guns in the West or whatever, but he's not really delivering. Also, he's pretty much passed out on the bar.
Right.
So Arthur walks up and is like, what the heck's going on? He's like, these are all the people I'm looking for. Maybe you could help me. Gives me a book of 5 names or something like that. These famous outlaws like fastest guns or whatever they are. I don't know. I forget.
So one of them is this woman that you go down towards into the swamplands for, and I hadn't been there yet, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go check this area out. I want to go see the giant city that's supposed to be in the south. That definitely is very New Orleans feeling. Like, it feels like New Orleans.
Did you have something that sent you down there? Because no new markers popped up when I looked at the journal entry or the mission entry.
Oh yeah,
Did you have to?
No, the entries, all the they popped up. I think all of the.
Huh.
Yeah, they all popped up for me when I got the journal.
Okay.
Because I knew where to go. You just have to kind of look for it. Like, they're not. I don't think it tells you exactly where they are. It gives you like the area.
Oh, okay.
But she's kind of down in the south portion of the map, and it's all. You go from that kind of like plainsy to a little rocky mountainy into just swampland. It's just swamp garbage. There's like you're stepping in mud everywhere, and you go to meet this woman, and she immediately comes at the door and comes at you with a gun in her hand. Like, what the hell are you doing? Great character, super fun. It's a very short little bit, and what it turns into is it turns into her blaming you for bringing bounty hunters to her because she's been on the run for like 20 something years now. And she says, all right, fine. You're going to help me kill all these people because you brought them here, and then we'll talk. And so you get into this amazingly cool little fight on this elevated shack while all these guys are coming around in this swampy, this swampland. They bring in a Gatling gun and start shooting at you. And she's got a whole bunch of like little lines here and there, just laying them out. And you get to use a detonator to blow up a bridge, and really fun mission. And then at the end, it's also, you get to use the camera. It was the first time I'd gotten to use the camera because you have to take a picture for the guy. And so you get to choose how she poses and everything. And
oh, that's right.
And it's super fun. It was a very fun mission. The other experience I had right before that I was just laughing my head off so hard during this entire thing. And this is something that is not a mission. It is a interaction you choose to have. And so you have to but you have to go by the person, then actually respond to them and continue building the conversation to make this happen.
Just randomly on the street? Like it's not attached to an icon, or? It
is not attached to an icon. It is definitely a set piece, but you have to trigger the set piece. You have to listen to the guy talking to you. And it's it's at like a farmhouse in the middle of the woods, kind of close to the southern part. And this big round hillbilly dude sitting on his porch, he's just got overalls on, and I think he had a pipe with him, and he's like, "Hey buddy, how you doing? Come on in. We got food on the table. We're ready to eat. We got some of the best drink around." And then this woman comes out and she's like, "Oh, I didn't know we were going to have company. Look, I'll just go, freshen myself up." And she runs inside, and you decide to go in or not. And if you go in, this whole other storyline branches out here, because at first it comes off like, all right, they're brother and sister, perfectly fine. He then tells you, you can't sit down at the table yet. He says, "Hey, my sister's upstairs, or she's upstairs. Go check on her." Like, okay, so you're thinking, all right, it's gonna be a frisky thing. All right,
am I getting a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe?
It very much goes that way. It doesn't quite get that brutal, but it totally turns into a. If you sit down and eat with them and drink, you find out very quickly. You know how this is going. It's not hidden in any way, and that's why I was like, I got to keep drinking. You got to keep drinking and not trying to leave. So I keep drinking, and you get like 3 drinks in, and then you pass out, and then you hear him say, "Take his money, put it behind mama, and then go ditch the body."
Dang.
And so sure enough, you wake up and you're like under another body that's in a pit that they have like well above their house. And so then you have the obvious option of, well, do you care, or do you go back and take care of business, get your money back? Oh yeah. Gotta go get my money back.
All right, man. So, okay. I'm wondering now, because you already answered one of my questions. I was going to ask you how you were playing, or how you were role playing this thing. I'm doing it pretty straight down the line, right? Like, my guy's a good guy. I sold all my cigarettes and cigars to the storekeeper because I don't smoke, but he smokes in the cutscene. So there's a stupidity to it anyways, but
no, I get it.
I haven't accidentally like shot anybody or anything. I think I messed something up, but it was during the mission, so it'll kind of restart, so I don't have to worry about a wanted meter or anything like that. So I'm still like, I'm not, I'm it's still a good guy, but I'm getting the feeling that I'm gonna not see as much for doing it that way, because if I would have gone into the house, but if it entailed like drinking a bunch, there might have been a point where I, again, probably stupidly, was like, no, I don't drink a bunch, like I've had a few drinks at a bar, actually, not, after doing the Lenny mission especially. What am I even talking about?
I was gonna say, all right, well, I mean, but that mission forces you to do it. It's an actual
you can't
mission,
not.
so.
You're already kind of slammed as you go in the door, but I guess we'll see I'm a little annoyed because I downloaded the companion app. Have you done that yet?
I have not.
I haven't looked at a thing. I haven't dug into the menus more than to see they're cool and kind of look at the compendium. I haven't dug into any of the challenges, which are kind of do these things and you'll get this thing from it. But I did the app and then I accidentally saw some and they were like, hold up 5 people. And I'm like, dang, like, I don't even want to know that because I don't want to be incentivized to do something against how I want to play the character. Like, eventually I'm going to because I want to 100% this thing and I'm going to want to get all the challenges. But for the time being, I kind of want this like blank slate.
Well, I mean, the nice thing is that stuff that after the game is over, you can go do it all the rest of the game.
Yes, and that's probably why it's there, is to add value in that way, I guess.
I'm having fun. I totally hold people up. I'm what you would refer to as a raider. Not from Los Angeles so much as I find people
Oakland.
that have or Oakland. You're correct now. They were the Los Angeles Raiders at one point.
Yeah,
so
no, they in many ways still are.
I love pirates. I will go out of my way if I see a plume of smoke, like if I see a fire. I'm gonna go over there and rob those people. And you know what? The funny thing is, a mass majority of these people do not seem to want to give me money when I have a gun pointed directly at their head and they haven't done anything yet. Like they haven't moved, and then they start moving, and you can tell from the animation they're going to pull their gun. So all right, well, your head's gone.
Can you shoot the gun out of their hand? You're doing this with your bandana on, I'm guessing.
Oh yes,
right,
I have learned to do that. Yes.
Okay. Do you get a wanted level if you're careful about that?
If you kill somebody and nobody's around and you have the bandana on and then you leave the area, you're fine. If you have I'm not quite sure how the bandana thing works, because I know for sure that like you can kill somebody, you can put the bandana on afterwards, and sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. So like I don't know why for sure. Or how for sure?
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll see how I screw this up. The pistons are already firing in my mind because I'm like, okay, well, if there's a way to do it without anybody knowing, but then I'm like, well, Ryan, you'll know.
You will know. Yeah, there have been a number of I got a double barreled shotgun. And that's pretty much my go-to weapon because
I got that from the mission.
I got that from there's what are they? The O'Doyles?
O'Driscoll. Yeah, you've captured an O'Driscoll who's at your camp forever, and then he finally gets an icon over him. Yep. You go to release him, and he takes you to a spot where the head O'Driscoll is supposed to be, who ends up not being there, but they have you search a cabin. And you get a double barrel. That's where I got my double barrel from. And it's where speaking of what you said, where they give you the tutorial on how to clean your gun and all that stuff.
Yes, which I consistently forget to do.
Here's a question.
Sure.
You might not be this far into it. Do you get different types of different guns? Because I picked up that double barrel shotgun. It made me leave my carbine on the floor. So I was like, oh, I hope that didn't replace it. But no, my carbine was still in the horse. Right. So I'm wondering... I guess I don't have to worry about that as much, probably. No,
so there's some funky things. I did have something weird happen, actually, and it was gun related. I went into the gun shop to buy a bunch of guns, like because I had a bunch of money, and then I had codes for some of the guns. So it's like, okay, I'll get them, I'll put them in my horse and everything, and so at one point. One of the carbines that I bought a carbine and then I bought another one on accident, like the same one, and they disappeared. Like they canceled each other out, and then I had to go find one off of some random guy. I was like, oh, you've got a carbine, so I'm going to kill you and take your gun. Huh. But yeah, once I have picked up a gun, it seems like you just go back to the horse and you can cycle through them.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
I don't want to worry about getting different versions. I know you can upgrade them. I took my pistol to the dude and put a long barrel on it and some other stuff. The customizations are really cool too. You can put like different engravings on it and make it look freaking rad. Didn't do any of that. A little expensive.
Me neither.
We'll
yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't have the money for it yet.
I'm saving my money for whenever, because what the game does, which is probably smart, is a lot of times you'll walk into different spots, especially the camp, and there'll be different things kind of on the menu or on the screen, and you'll be like, oh, like right now there's 3 red icons, and I'm like, oh, I should do something about 3 red icons probably, but I can't. So I look it up online, and it's like, well, you do it with the, it's not log. It's like
the journal.
There's a book that opens up. What the heck is that thing called?
The compendium.
Whatever. I'll figure it out. I don't know. Maybe you don't have it yet either. You'll do a mission, and then a book will open up that's next to the donation box, which you can still
the
donate
ledger.
at this
The ledger.
Ledger.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I didn't have that open yet, so I couldn't do anything about anything. So you have done the mission then?
Yes, I have the ledger, and I've bought some of the things that make the camp better.
Okay. Yes, that's yeah.
This is the last thing I want to say about this. I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
I still don't know how the hell to play dominoes. Like reading those instructions, I still don't get it.
Well, my game hasn't unlocked yet. It's another thing at camp that hasn't gone yet.
Oh man, yeah. I play poker, and that's how I got like I ended up like $200 in poker, and then I lost that money somehow.
I played Five Finger Fillet by myself.
I did. I played that by myself too. I'm bad at it.
I did okay. I feel like it's easier than it was in the first game. Like this one, you're just alternating between two buttons basically, unless you do a flourish in there.
You're alternating between all three. I mean, really all four, but you always have your anchor button.
Okay, so it's different then. I've not upped the difficulty level, it seems, yet.
And because I know that like for most of them, it was like you do like the one that I can kind of think of the general pattern is A B A Y A X
right.
A B A X A B A Y A X.
Yeah, see, the ones I have are literally just two buttons, back forth.
Oh
back
man,
forth.
that's
so
awesome!
I'm like zipping through it. Yeah, no, it's great.
God, I could do that.
Lance Henriksen is there.
Yeah, but does he have
on.
weird white blood though?
Of course he does.
That's
Lance Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen bleeds white blood.
He was in. We just did a show, and I didn't even mention he was in it because they wasted him.
Call of Duty.
It was freaking the Damien, the Omen 2.
Sure.
Or the Omen, if you listen to the show.
Oh.
Funniest part about editing that show was listening to myself say the Omen like 5 more times and not know it, and listening to you laugh and say Omen. Like, I had no idea. It was fantastic. Tune in Thursdays. Anything else about Red Dead?
No.
Okay, this week, so news a little light either way, and I think it's going to serve us, but a couple things. Do you want to talk about the PlayStation Classic lineup? They released all of the games on that list so far. We kind of mentioned it quickly when it first got announced, but
yeah, this is a good little package here. I played a lot of these games, like I rented a lot of these games. Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby was the first game I owned.
Like ever?
For the PlayStation,
For the PlayStation?
yeah.
Right, yeah, gotcha.
Resident Evil Director's Cut is definitely excellent. Puzzle Fighter is on here, Ridge Racer, Siphon Filter, Twisted Metal. Like, that is definitely a very, very cool setup, and I would consider that if I had the time or the anything else. But I don't.
Yeah.
And so it is lost on me like all other consoles of that nature. But yeah, it's cool. I like it a lot. I like what they're doing with it.
Yeah, the only complaints I've seen are people kind of wishing that the sequels to some of these things were in there. Like I've heard Twisted Metal 2 is the better Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah, it's the best one.
So it seems like they are definitely ticking the nostalgia box on a lot of these, and
yeah,
I can't imagine they're going to make it upgradable or going to release more games for it or something.
No, this is going to be a NES classic.
Yeah.
Still cool.
But I am interested to see also how these things look. Like this era, and we know the N64 Mini is probably hitting eventually, but this era I feel like hasn't seen. They've seen some HD upgrades, but doesn't really age like the Pixel stuff, like the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo stuff or Genesis stuff. Like, I'm curious to see what we get with, HDMI versions of these things. Not necessarily up-res or anything, just...
it is funny though, right? Because so many of these games, they can't hold up the way those 8-bit and 16-bit games do.
Yeah.
They just can't. And it's like going back and watching movies with early movies with CGI. Where you're like, that's just, what they were doing, and at the time, my gosh, it looked amazing. But you go back now and you're like, wow, how are you still worse than Terminator 2? Like, how did you still screw that up?
Well, that's a high bar.
But it's totally one of those things where I think these are harder to bring back.
Or it just hasn't been done yet. I think there's room for it, and I can appreciate an old game pretty darn quickly. But yeah, I just probably putting too much thought into this anyways.
No. I think a lot of these games suffer. They're hard to get past because, like, You take games like Battle Arena Toshinden or any of those like early fighter games. They're so stiff.
Tekken 3 also on the list.
Yeah, and I mean Tekken 3 is probably not as stiff, but like there's those early ones like Virtua Fighter, for example. And we're talking earlier, but they're so stiff. The control schemes were stiff. And you go back to like old Nintendo games, and those are fine in port as long as the controls work. As long as those controls are snappy like a Nintendo controller is, it's fine. Those controls
and they benefit from the sharpness of HDMI. You know,
Definitely.
like there's an immediate improvement.
Right, and but with so many of these games that were like polygonal, like on a very, very real level, I don't know how they're going to translate, and I hope they're fun. I hope that they're able to make them a little smoother. But I don't know how much control changes are going in here with these.
I don't think any. Like I think that's apparent by the games they're choosing. The original Grand Theft Auto was the other one. Like, people could think of some other Grand Theft Autos to put in here probably, but they're like, no, the first one, right? You know, in fact, it comes with it doesn't even come with the analog, the DualShock. It comes with the first PS controller.
Well, that's what
you know,
what you gotta have.
The D-pad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So.
It is ridiculous.
And when I say we're probably putting too much thought into it, like, I don't know if anybody sits down and plays. I don't know if a lot of people sit down and play these things beginning to end, right? Is this a thing somebody gets on Christmas, plugs it in, and was like, oh man, this is rad, and then goes back to their PS4 primarily,
Maybe.
You know?
Again, see, this goes back to like, I think Nintendo is kind of unique in these situations.
Also.
I'm sure there are going to be people that are into it. You know, there'll be fans that want and will sit down and do it, but those Nintendo platforms benefit so much more from all of this kind of retro review. Like they're easier games to sit down with because they're not as like they're simple side scrollers, they're simple RPGs. They're easy to get into even no matter how difficult they are. Whereas some of these other games, like there's just a lot going, and you don't have how many of these games on there don't even have like good 2-player action. Like, I mean, there's a couple on there that have it, but the Nintendo games also focused more on that in general. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's gaming's adolescence in a lot of ways. You know, like 3D became a thing. Like Nintendo, Mario 64 is an aberration of all sorts. You know, like
sure.
To be as good as it was, to be the first of its kind. And Sony in a lot of ways was, you know, taking that and running with it, but how do you do that? So yeah, it's not technically gaming's adolescence because we're all just comparatively speaking still infants probably.
Sure.
But you know, there is kind of that awkwardness to it, I feel like, when you look at a lot of these. So
yeah.
It's interesting, and I will be interested to see still. For
sure. Agree.
Yeah. Only other thing that happened this past week was BlizzCon.
Only other thing.
So, you know, one of the 4 things I could be talking about next would be...
Warcraft 3?
Yes, Warcraft 3.
What?
Did you see that coming? The remaster of Warcraft 3?
Did I see it coming as in, did I see that they announced it, or did I see it ever happening?
Sure.
No. I saw nothing.
Not a big Warcraft 3 guy?
I was never a Warcraft guy, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it goes back to that. I'm defective when it comes to strategy games.
I would say I'm just not a huge RTS guy. Like the Warcraft 3 always looked great, you know.
Yeah.
But
and I love the concept of them. I loved playing like Age of Empires, and I loved playing Star Wars Galaxies. Is that what it's called?
Isn't that the MMO?
Galactic Assault, I don't know. There was an RTS that was a Star Wars one. I like that one.
Star Trek Legacy.
That's definitely it was the Legion.
The 360 RTS that I played.
360 420 no scope. Yeah, I'm just bad at them. Bad at them.
Well, it sounds like you're on about the same schedule as I am too. Like I'll play one and then I'll be like, I'm good for a few years.
Yeah, and the last time I played one, I guess the closest thing you can get is XCOM, and that I actually will go back and play because I like XCOM.
Yeah, I don't even know me knowing nothing about XCOM and never having played it. I feel like RTS isn't exactly. I mean, nobody calls that an RTS, right? That's like it's
an RTS. I mean, it's a cover-based RTS. I don't know. I think it's an RTS.
Action RTS?
Sure.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, well, Hearthstone, I didn't want to say I'll buy that if you had something for it.
Card games, fun.
Okay, all right. But Overwatch.
Overwatch.
We've participated in a fair amount, and I feel like anytime they release a new cinematic short, it's something in and of itself, but we also got a new character this time. I guess in conjunction with the short, really.
I love it, because you know what? After getting back into it, playing more, and I really do like McCree. I always really enjoyed.
He's always been great.
I always enjoyed McCree. I was never great with him, but I like him.
How do you like the cinematic short?
I like it. I would say it's up there with some of the better ones. It's
Really?
It's not the worst, not the best. It's in the mid.
I would entertain an argument that it's the worst. I also like it, but it was just missing something. I don't know.
That's fair. Maybe it's just me and my being displaced from the game for so long. I feel like the last couple, though, have not been... Like, they had this rush of steam, and then it just kind of petered off.
Well, the literal release schedule of the cinematic shorts has been just slower and slower. And I thought is this season 2? They mentioned something like a season 2 at some point. I don't know if that's what we're doing. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
Whatever. It is still fun. I mean, if you like any of them, you should watch this thing. I'm still going to show it to my daughter. She loves these things. So
yeah, it might be time for a full rewatch.
Also that, sure, yeah, go back. The old ones hold up, I'm sure, all this time later.
Would hope so.
What do you think about Ash, the new character from the McCree world or history canon, hand canon?
Interesting character. I can never understand what they're going to do with these things, and I never know how they're actually going to fit in. So I'm curious. I want to see what happens. I like cowboys and cow people. So,
ooh, cow people. They, you might want to be more specific because they could release a cow person in the game at some point.
Wait, who is Ash? I thought she was the cow person.
Ash, she's a cowgirl, yes, but I'm thinking like a cow person, like a
wait, is she
anthropomorphic creation? The game has a hamster in it now.
I know that hamster is very confusing to me. Playing against that thing and playing with it and playing as I don't know what to do. You could swing your ball around and
I just want to give him a try. I haven't even.
Hammond. His name is Hammond.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's good. That's fair. You can do that.
Hammond.
Ash looks interesting. She doesn't look like, strictly speaking, a sniper. She looks almost mid-range. I don't know why I get that feel, but
yeah. I'm curious. Like she's gonna have that sharpshooter thing. I'm curious if she's gonna be. I feel she's not gonna be Widow, right? But I feel like she's gonna be that weird in between Widow and like Hanzo or something.
That's kind of what I had the feeling of. Yeah.
Widow and
her
Hanzo.
ult is probably that big robot dude that looks like a old saloony bartender with a bowler on or something.
Oh, that'd be perfect because that'd be fun. I like it. I want to be an old saloony bartender.
Okay. Hey, I'm not stopping you, man.
Thank you.
I'm not getting in the way of your dreams.
Dude, you are so supportive. You are like the best bra a dude could have.
So stay tuned. Next sub goal, you're getting old saloony bartender Matt.
That's right.
And that was probably what Blizzard hoped now was the last of BlizzCon. But instead, they announced a new Diablo game, Diablo Immortal.
And this right here is going to be the capper.
Yeah,
because
will take us right into it.
Wowzers. This was... I don't think this went the way anybody expected it to.
I mean, yes. I hope this did not go the way anybody expected it to. Because it didn't go great, I don't think, for all sides. But for different reasons.
Very.
It's a mobile game, Diablo Immortal. And that seemed to disappoint some people. They're promising a full-fledged Diablo-like experience. There's been a couple hands-on impressions of it. There's boss-specific loot. I saw something going around about that. So there's things to it. It's kind of immaterial at this point.
Indeed.
But the pretty much first thing that happened at the freaking BlizzCon, they took a question from the crowd from some guy, and he voiced what apparently a lot of people were thinking on the internet. He was the internet given body in this moment.
Thankfully.
Which is, we've been watching horror movies for October. That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
And the video's out there. You can go check it out. But basically, he asked them if it was a late April Fool's joke. And this is literally a Q&A like being broadcast. Like this is at BlizzCon. Guys are on the stage. They got to answer that question. But yes, people are upset that this isn't Diablo 4, I guess. They're upset. What are they upset at, Matt?
They're upset about a few things. They're upset that, number one, people, I think the biggest complaint here really is that they've gone out of their way to bring people to BlizzCon for an expensive ticket, taking time overnight. For people that are generally there for PC and console games, taking a game that is one of their flagship titles that people have an ardent love for, and then saying, hey, here's the announcement. And they did kind of earlier on in the year try to say, guys, don't.
They said no Diablo 4. They said do not look forward to Diablo 4.
Right.
It's not gonna be a BlizzCon. Yeah.
So they you hear this and then they hear that it's mobile and mobile, like I think there's a bunch of things going on here. Ben Kuchera actually from Polygon wrote a pretty interesting response to this whole situation about why Blizzard is just as much to blame for the backlash here than as anybody else could be. And one of the things that kind of comes up with it is when you hear, hey, we've got a full-fledged mobile game, nobody expects you to not have microtransactions. Nobody there's all these expectations about a mobile game. And then on top of that, you're going to try and say, and I'm not, that's Blizzard is trying to say, we have got a full-fledged experience here. This is a one-to-one. This is the game between Diablo 2 and 3, I think. Mm-hmm. And we got a full experience here. And then that's not what most Diablo fans want, I think. I don't think most people want to play this game on a mobile phone.
Okay.
Mobile device.
Yeah. What most Diablo fans want. Yeah, okay. I think that's probably true. Over 50%, this isn't what they were looking for.
But I also think that one of the issues here is that Diablo itself, and this is something Kuchera kind of talks about, Blizzard has done a really good job of taking games in a genre and making them their own. Diablo is kind of their bastard child in that they did that, created Diablo, and then everything else tried to be Diablo. So there are hundreds upon probably thousands of games that are probably exactly like Diablo sitting in the App Store right now.
Hugely influential, yeah. If not clones that were born of it, there were Borderlands can trace itself back to Diablo in a way.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even just going to that kind of style play, that top-down RPG thing, that is saturated in the App Store. And then on top of that, they're, and again, this is all my read on this and kind of what I'm getting out of all of the stuff that I have read.
Sure.
Then they've got their partner NetEase, who has a game that has like the exact same UI and plays kind of just like Diablo, and that it kind of feels like a lot of people thought, well, they're just reskinning this. Then you've got Blizzard comes back and said, no, this is all being built from the ground up. Kind of. They're kind of building it from the ground up though, because they are creating new assets, but it just sounds more like we're creating the Diablo stuff for a game that already exists. It doesn't sound like they're rebuilding control schemes and all that stuff. It's just not, this is not what people wanted to hear.
So heartily disagree with quite a few things, but I'm not going to say that any of what you said is baseless, or that somebody should follow Blizzard blindly or anything like that. Like, there's a conversation to be had. Let's have it.
Yeah, I think that's what we're here for. Let's do this.
But and I think maybe I come down a little bit more. I don't want to use the word entitlement, so I will.
Yeah, definitely do.
But I trust the creators far more often. Like, I don't even change my control. This is something we talked about most recently. Like, I won't even change my control scheme a lot of the time for a game because I want to experience what the authors, like, I believe there is an amount of authorial control to video games that is often looked over, and I want to experience that in a lot of different ways. So I'm a little less likely to side with the Kucheras of the world that might have some good points, and I will concede some in a bit, but there's still that part of me that's like, okay, the people who are disappointed because it's not Diablo 4, it seems like mostly. Okay, that would have been the thing that didn't disappoint them, but Diablo 4 is in the works. They've as much as said so without having to say so. But number one, they didn't have to say so. Diablo 4 was going to happen sooner or later no matter what. So you don't need somebody to tell you that if you've got half a brain as is. But they did. They're being nice. Okay, you know, they haven't given you the full announcement because they can't do that either because fandoms have proven themselves not trustworthy in that degree either, right? Like they can't tell you about Diablo 4 without or even give you a date, you know, heaven forbid, right? That could just be death all the way around. Death threats, in fact. The other thing, though, is that this mobile game that you're disappointed about might just not be for you then. Like maybe they weren't talking to you in this, and that's where maybe I'll concede a little bit is that it's Blizzard and this is BlizzCon. They probably were talking to the wrong crowd, you know? This probably was not for them. Yeah,
I'm going to interrupt you because and this is one of those things that it's and Kuchera called this one out too. And when I watched the video, I even was like, I don't remember the guy's name.
The video's objective. Yeah, that's dumb. No matter what.
No.
We're gonna
I'm talking about the
things,
response.
But that dude was a dummy.
The response from the developer when he had the valid response, and then he said, "What do you guys not have phones?"
Oh, that was a bad response.
They were definitely. There is no two ways about it. This is aimed. They were aiming this at everybody at BlizzCon, and they failed miserably because they forgot that the people who come to BlizzCon are not there for their phones. Yes. They're not, and that right there is a huge mistake on their part. I totally think that they should not have announced.
Completely agreed. Yeah,
they should not have announced mobile Diablo there.
Totally agreed. I guess I'm getting more into the internet response beyond that is everyone who is upset because it is a mobile game. And again, these aren't baseless fears. You know, mobile has given us some of the worst of gaming, and some of that has broken into all of other gaming, you know, microtransactions and everything. Yeah, sure. Be wary of mobile and the things that come from it. But not only might this game not be for you anyways, you might be completely out of touch with what mobile even means nowadays. Like people are playing Fortnite, a full-fledged AAA everything game, the most popular game ever, on their phones. Mm-hmm. Like mobile doesn't mean maybe what you think it means anymore. And we'll get into the actual realism of this specific game. But you know, if you're exploding at the word mobile right off the bat, I think you're living a few years behind, just anyways. But this game specifically, all right, like there are some firsthand impressions. It is being made by NetEase, and there are some similarities to that game that's already out. Actually, I haven't heard a whole lot of gameplay similarities about it. Just mostly UI stuff has been the thing that's kind of tripping people up, it seems, and is provable at this point. Because we don't know that much about Diablo Immortal, for that matter, or enough, supposedly.
I'm pretty sure I understand exactly what it is. I mean,
okay, all right. To say if it's exactly like this other, maybe we don't know enough about Crusaders of Light. Is the
oh yeah, no. And I'm not. Be clear. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying this is what people are reporting. Sure, I'm understanding.
Yes. No, yeah, I'm just going off what. In any event, I guess I think Blizzard deserves a modicum of trust. You know, like they've been pretty trustworthy so far, more so I would say than other developers. This would be a sea change of sorts if this was the worst kind of cash grab. If they did release some low quality, and some of the first impressions are saying boring more than, you know, like cash grab. There's no information at all about microtransactions for the Blizzard thing. So
Which is good. You'd hope that they would not be stupid enough to do that, because that would just be that would right there. I don't think that game would survive that. I just think it would get sunk almost immediately.
I think the chances are pretty darn slim that I mean, they're going to be pretty careful with this thing,
especially now
from here on out. I'd say, yeah. So it doesn't seem to have the level of craft that something like Hearthstone does. You know, a game that Blizzard has made themselves for mobile. So. Yes, there is an amount of skepticism that I will absolutely entertain, but
and here's, I mean, in terms of that, I think for me, my biggest concern about it, my biggest issue would be, and because again, this does not affect me in any way. I'm never going to play. I have no interest in Diablo on mobile anyways, but I'm not the person that's going to go off the handle about it because it's really not that impactful to me. However, The fact that it's not Blizzard making the game. That's not them. NetEase is making the game. Blizzard is giving them assets.
Sure.
That right there is the biggest. That's the problem. To me, that's the real problem. You don't have Blizzard making the game. You don't have their quality control. We partnered with NetEase. NetEase makes games. We're going to send this out, and it's going to be what it is.
Like you would think they would exert a greater amount of oversight.
Well, now
because
maybe
they're Blizzard.
But
now, yes.
But I don't see. I mean, and I think now. Now we're in a weird middle thing where because they're probably I think you're right. They're going to be overly cautious with this now. But I think another part of this that's also going very. There was another question that was asked in that Q&A that gets overshadowed repeatedly because of the quote unquote funny one, the April Fool's joke. Mm-hmm. Guy who is I cannot remember his name either. I pulled it and then I lost it. Mm-hmm. He's actually one of the longest going Diablo 3 content creators. And he came up and asked, so the game looks like it's got some things that we've been asking for. Is it ever coming to PC? And then when they said it's not coming to PC, that's when the boos happen. And right there, that should explain exactly what the issue is.
Yeah, wrong crowd.
This is something that you maybe do a quick video clip. You do a video announcement for. You start the show off with you do an actual video package for coming soon on your mobile phone immediately out of the gate. Mobile Diablo, and then go off on it. You didn't need to do a Q&A with it. You didn't need to have a whole 15-minute stage presentation for it. It was, and I think that they're understanding that. I think that they see that now because
yes.
I'd be willing to bet that any other thing they do mobile related will not come out on stage like that again.
Yeah, I think they got the idea. I mean, if their idea would have been, it seemed like hey, we got to sell this at least a little bit to this crowd. But it wasn't. It just seemed like a complete misfire about what crowd they were actually talking to.
Yep.
So.
Well, and then I think the funny thing also was there have been a number of photos that have popped up from BlizzCon at various times of the day for the Diablo Immortal booth area, like where the games are, and not packed at all. Like every other game on the floor packed. That one, like very few people playing. And I guess they had a line for feedback. And that was always pretty packed. Can't imagine.
I still come down like the April Fool's guy. Like I get it. Like just don't be that guy. Like get up and ask the question. Like, oh man, we were like there was a better way to do that on both sides, honestly. But I mean, it's just I'm probably a bad person to ask because I don't get invested like this. Like I can't think of a single game, even one that I love like a lot. Like, I love Overwatch a lot. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Like, I feel like if they announced an Overwatch mobile thing, I still wouldn't care, but I don't get invested like that, I guess. Maybe that's my problem, is it's hard for me to see getting angry about stuff like this because I don't know. I'm not invested even.
Because it's not worth getting angry over. They're video games. Like
I guess that's a good blanket statement, right? Like we can just say that. Is that okay?
No, I say this. People ask me about this on the stream. I've been asked this a number of times. I've talked about this in other people's chats. Like I personally do not understand getting mad at a video game. I get getting frustrated. I get having to put the controller down. I get getting mad
at that kind of mad. Oh yeah, no, I'm all over that kind of mad.
And I can understand getting mad, but you're not mad. You're just like, but more than anything, you're frustrated and you're like, okay, this is just garbage and I hate it. But 9 times out of 10, at least for me, and I'm 99% sure for you as well, you finally you either walk away from it, you come back and bam, it's done. You did it. Or you just sit there and you pound and then you get through it and you go, God, I'm so glad I don't have to do it anymore. And that's it.
I'm mad at the computer chip. That is the extent of it.
Right.
I'm literally yelling at the inanimate things about this.
Yeah. And like,
maybe the code.
I just don't like it especially when it comes to things like this, I'm not going to get worked up about it. Now, do I think that I maybe I'm a bad person with this a little bit. I kind of fall in the middle on how this thing all fell out too. Like, that was a very, it was a very minor barb for a situation that had already gone downhill. Is it kicking somebody while they're down? Maybe not. I don't think it's worth screaming about how everybody is the worst person, which is now that's like the big thing, is the every think piece on every gaming site, and even others are, this guy's the worst. Is he? I mean, there's a lot more. He could have gone in a whole lot of different directions, and I think for being disappointed and getting up to saying that's it, like, all right, it could have been worse. It didn't necessarily need to happen.
Okay, you know what? You're right, actually. The thing that makes me most disappointed in that isn't necessarily that he was being kind of a jerk about it, because we're kind of a jerk about a lot of things.
I am a jerk all the time.
It's that the joke wasn't that good. Like, is this an April Fool's? Like, if he
Fair
had got
enough.
up with something that was like a little more clever,
sure,
I would have been like, okay, or a little more.
You got it, yeah.
More back and forth, like, oh, I got you, like, yeah, sure, all right. So, yes.
That's fair.
I can see myself in the middle, but
I get why people are. I get why this is a very two-sided discussion, like everything else is in this world. This is just something where I fall in the middle of it, because look, at the end of the day, these developers, okay, this is one thing that I do like. I don't know if we talk about it now. Maybe we talk about it on a different show. The concept of gamer entitlement. I think that there is such a thing as gamer entitlement, but I also think that it's not always properly used, because I do think people forget that without the gamers buying the products, making your thing popular, you don't necessarily get to make games. We don't get games, but there's a push-pull with that. We've talked about that push-pull.
For sure. And I think that's probably where my authorial control hoo-ha falls apart a little bit. Because, yes, I am very much involved and invested in the creative aspect of things, but games being an interactive medium, and there being these communities built up all around them, and there being this back and forth that I honestly don't participate in, even for games I really love.
Sure.
Like, a lot of that's lost on me. So, yeah, for sure.
Well, that's fair. I guess what I'm getting at is that there are a couple things that happen here, and I think that one of the kind of things that I run into is, if you have a Q&A, you cannot expect every single person to have a good thing to say. Like, you can't. And so people, like, one of the things that I've read a few things is that people feel bad for the developers that are on stage. You're ripping on the developers. Well, okay, sure. He's making a bad joke to a developer who got on stage in front of all these people, in front of all. You're getting criticized. You're going to get called out for things. Not always rightfully, but this was not, the guy didn't get rated. He didn't get beat down. They didn't rip him. They didn't do anything like that. They one dude made a simple, stupid joke that kind of encapsulated what apparently all of BlizzCon seemed to feel.
Thinking,
right? And then you had another guy ask the very valid question of, is this going to come to PC? And then when they get no, they get booed. I'm sorry, you don't get to say gamers are entitled because they asked those questions and those were the responses they get. That's not the right way of using that term.
Yes. The problem wasn't ownership of phones.
Indeed, It was not. It was ownership of self.
Hey, wow. I think that's where we end it for the week.
I'm done.
0HITPOINTS.com if you want to check out the website, wherein you can find all sorts of interesting things about us and video games. Probably. Do we do anything on the website anymore?
Well, you do. You're good at it.
The podcast at 0HITPOINTS.com. There you go. Send us an email or a Twitter or a Facebook. Come back on Thursday. We're doing The Thing as not a Halloween movie. I think you know what? That's fine. We'll get into it. Come on Thursday. I think it transcends Halloween, so I think it's fine that it's not Octoberween anymore.
I think it's best, actually. Yeah.
Right,
Don't forget twitch.tv/0HITPOINTS. We're there Tuesday through Saturday, playing DBD. Come and hang out.
DBD. That's what my son when we taught him what DVDs were called. It was one of his first objects he latched onto. He called them DVDs.
DVDs.
So yeah, tune in for Twitch.
Yeah, there we go. And have a lovely election day.
Oh yeah, go vote.